Hey!
Nice impression.
It's a patch.
Thanks.
Welcome to the patch.
That was close.
This week brought to you by Loot Crate, the lootest product out there. We'll talk more
Nice
about them
pitch.
later.
Yeah.
That's not their official tagline.
I'm sold.
I discovered moments ago that fake yawns work on Gus. So if you got a fake yawn in you want to try and see if you can just make him...
Fake yawns work on everybody.
There, Loot Crate. See it. Spin the
Nothing?
thing.
No? Okay.
No, I'm a professional. The lights are on. The
All
cameras
right,
going.
once the camera's going.
Before the cameras were going,
Done.
I was talking about how
Nailed
sleepy
you.
I was,
Yeah.
and you were fake yawning, and it was fighting to to keep from
Choke
yawning
it
during the
back.
first shot of
Why
the
are
podcast.
yawns contagious?
It's a survival instinct because no, I got nothing. I have no idea.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
When someone yawns, it changes the air pressure for everyone else, and then that person has to yawn to equalize pressure, and then it's just like a cascading
See,
effect.
tribe dynamics. You want everybody to sleep at the same time, so one yawn would infect the others.
Wouldn't you want someone to stay up and keep watch, though?
No, see, commonly held misconception. If everyone's asleep, the predators just don't notice you.
Welcome to Science by the Patch.
Yeah, we should start a bad science podcast, but we already have our Monday podcast, which I think fits the bill pretty
Covered.
closely. So,
Yeah, you guys do some good work on that podcast.
well, people,
I sometimes sit over at my desk and go,
people want to know the most entertaining answer, not necessarily the most correct answer.
Right. And that's what we're here for.
That's what we serve. It's a people take it for granted.
you know
It's a
what else
hard
we
job.
serve? Video games.
Video games. We talked about
Hey.
video games. I think big news, of course, this week. Probably the biggest news is The Order 1886 coming out this Friday.
I'm excited.
Well, unless you're on YouTube, in which case it came out already.
Bit of a controversy there. So, someone got early access and then uploaded a full playthrough of the game in 16 parts to YouTube. Is that correct?
I think it was something like 16.
Yeah.
And,
But it was a whole bunch of parts. I think 16 sounds right.
yeah, and then it got taken down, and people were.
But not before people counted the time.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I didn't watch the footage. I don't know, what this is. But I think about a lot of games and how quickly you can finish them if you're just like focusing on story, and then how long they can take. Like Skyrim, for example. I think I beat Skyrim in 5 hours.
Yeah,
Really?
I stuck to the story and then just like did nothing else.
I didn't even know that could be done.
speed run.
It's so
Gus-
distracting.
It started my love of speed
Gus
run.
is really into
How
speed running now.
how do you walk past all the needy people of Skyrim? Like, hey, hero, I have something really important I need. Like, nah.
I don't.
It's a wheel of cheese.
But it's a really rare wheel of cheese.
I'm gonna look up Skyrim speedrun.
Perfectly aged in a sheep cave.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I believe that this playthrough of the Order was not quite a speed run, but it was essentials only. So
So the Skyrim speedrun, by the way, is 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
I saw a 40
Wow.
minute speedrun on there. So
Well
it's
done.
doable. My 5-hour time was not nearly as impressive.
I mean,
as
don't you have to
I'm
like
sure you
climb
can
a
get it
mountain?
down there. Just play it a couple more times.
You got to go to the top of the mountain. You got to learn to yodel, and then there's that.
You'd be
whole-
surprised how much of that game is actually optional. It's very quick if you just stick to the story.
All right.
So I mean, I don't see the footage. I don't know, what the full story is there. I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, the total of the videos that they put up was something like 5.5 hours, which made a lot of people concerned. But it was completely essentials only. I imagine it's at least closer to like 7 or 8 minimum if you're gonna actually do stuff. I don't actually mind that. Is this going to sound really weird? But I'm still working through such a backlog of games that I'm like, I came that I'm going to be able to get through in like a day or two. And I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
It's total quickie.
I think
That's how I roll.
a long time ago in an early Rooster Teeth podcast, we were talking about one of the Call of Duty games. It might have been Modern Warfare 2. And at the time, people were complaining about the brevity of that game because I think that was like 6 hours.
Yeah, I think the new one was like 7 hours, wasn't it?
At the time, I said,
It's pretty quick. Yeah.
that's fine by me. If you can deliver a good, fun experience in that time.
Well, and that's still 2-3 movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, 3 Lord of the Rings movies, or 2 Lord of the Rings movies, 3 regular movies.
Or one book that's been turned into 3 movies.
200 pages of gold.
I think it's impossible to measure the quality of a piece of software or the quality of a game just based solely on this one arbitrary metric.
Yeah, one of my favorite games was Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, I think, and I think you could beat it in like 7 hours ish if you were playing quickly, which I never did because I'm terrible at it. But
Yeah,
you could.
Wasn't that game all
theoretically.
about reversing time, though?
Yeah,
So if you just never use the time mechanic, then you could beat it in 7 hours?
possibly. But there was also a lot of hidden stuff to collect, and of course, I have to get all of that stuff. Save the world.
So I feel like leading up to this launch of the Order 1886, I haven't seen as much marketing as I thought I would for it. Is it because there's really not many other PS4 exclusive big title game or big budget games coming out? Like they're just like, hey, you're gonna buy it.
It is true that it's not competing with a lot right now. I mean,
Evolve came out.
Evolve came out, but I'd argue that they're pretty different demographics.
Yeah.
And Evolve is also not an exclusive, whereas this is PlayStation exclusive. So, it's going to have that sort of market share by default. There aren't a lot of games coming out, for the next couple of weeks too. I mean, it's starting to ramp up again. This was actually like the first year in a while that I feel like we've had like that proper lull in January. It's been really nice, frankly. I feel like I'm finally getting to catch up a little bit, and then only to fall behind again. There were some other exclusives though. What came out? Majora's Mask came out.
Oh, right. On that
Again.
millionth 3DS.
New 3DS. I got the new 3DS XL.
Did ya?
What color did you get?
Got red. Hey, does someone want to grab it out of my bag so I can show it off? Because I love it a lot.
Can you show the thing that didn't come with it too? Like the
What, you mean
charging,
the charging cable?
Or
Why
an easy way to put a memory card in it?
It is true. It comes with a 4 gigabyte card by default, but I was transferring over from my other 3DS, and I had a 32 gigabyte card in that just because I don't like deleting
Why not?
things. And so I went to Best Buy, got a 32 gig card. Yes.
Here comes frequent patch contributor Meg Turney. Thank you. Thank you, Meg.
We're on camera at all.
It's so pretty. I'm gonna polish this up a little bit.
Oh, gotta shine it first.
So it's it's actually a lot prettier in person than it was in the advertising.
It's
Can
pretty.
I hold it? I want to see what this deal
Careful,
is. Okay.
his skin burns.
Yeah.
Only metal, not plastic.
But there are a couple
I'm like Magneto.
Thank God it's
Put me in a
poorly
plastic
constructed.
prison, and I'm helpless. All right, so ZL, ZR.
So yeah, the extra shoulder buttons
see
haven't
stick.
gotten in the way yet.
Okay.
I haven't played a game that actually uses them, but they haven't gotten in the way. One thing that's weird about it, I mean, aside from the memory card thing, which I'll get back to in a second, there's no switch to turn the Wi-Fi on and off.
So it's just on all the time.
There's a software setting, but you have to go out to the menu and then use like a software toggle to do it.
Oh, the game
Which-
goes down
Okay.
there now,
Yep, they moved it around to the front.
and the audio's there.
It's on the
stylus is-
Gus is looking at the bottom
Yeah,
of the device.
and the
now.
stylus is also at the bottom now instead of the side. I like the stylus
And
on
it's
the
a much
side.
shorter stylus.
Is it? Oh yeah.
It looks like the old school DS
Yeah, well,
stylus.
yeah, it's shorter than the last XL, I think. That's what I've heard. I'm gonna be honest. I lost mine like immediately. I think I had my last 3DS for about a half hour before I had no idea where the stylus was. This one lasted like record time for me.
You need to get one of those things like they have at the bank, like a little
Put a chain on
retractable.
I
Yeah.
should. But the weirdest thing about it is definitely that to replace the SD card, because it doesn't take SD cards like the last one did. It takes a micro SD card, so you're gonna have to buy a new one. And then you have to unscrew the back.
How many screws is that? Is that just
Two
two?
screws, two little screws. You have to get the little. It's like the little tiny special computer screws.
Like the
Pop
eyeglass
the
repair
back
kit.
off, and then replace the card. That's so dumb.
Is the like how? So, sorry, I haven't read about this. So when you take the back off, do you just see like a micro SD card reader in there and you just eject it?
Yep,
or-
there's just a little thing you push it and then it like pops out and then you stick the other one in and screw the back on.
And they couldn't.
It's like doing open
them-
heart surgery because you have a cough.
There's like all of this side now.
That was a terrible
And then all of
analogy,
that
I'm
side
sorry.
now
It's-
with nothing
it's
on
all right.
it. Why
It
couldn't
served
you
it.
just do it there? But it makes me wonder, like they moved everything down to the bottom now. Like, is there something blocking the sides here on the inside?
I mean,
They have put more stuff in it now that there's like NFC and stuff under the screen. They've probably had
Why?
to move some hardware components around because amiibos are going to start unlocking little blips
amiibos,
of
right.
classic games, man.
look, I hate to defend Nintendo for anything, but I will
Well, this
give
is
them
gonna be
this.
good.
I will give them this. At least, I mean, the memory card is something you're not going to usually take in and out of your device. If it has external access, you either have to put a pretty robust little flip down cover on there, or it's just liable to pop out at any minute. So if it's in there, now granted, there's a lot of ways they could have addressed that other than two physical screws. I mean, cell phones have pop off backs. I mean, it's been addressed in electronics before, but that thing isn't going anywhere.
The previous 3DS had a pretty robust cover
Yeah,
over
it was,
the
and
SD
it
card.
was
And
just fine.
I've never heard of any. I've known lots of people with 3DSs. I've never heard of anybody losing their SD card or having it pop out on them.
Not even.
I'm
once.
sure it has happened to somebody, so you don't have to tweet at me and tell me that. But I don't know anybody, and I know a lot of people with 3DSs. I know a lot of people.
It was that's a questionable decision. I wish there was a Wi-Fi toggle, but the 3D on this thing is amazing.
I saw a Carrie out there playing with it, and the face tracking on it, where it showed a little head icon, and you moved around in the box, and it followed that. I haven't seen actual 3D on it, but all right, you gonna flash me? Nice. With the 3DS,
It's gonna be hot. Menu.
What do you mean? Oh.
Main menu.
So what are so you're playing Majora's Mask? Is that?
I just got Majora's Mask and I'm about to start playing it.
So do you need to have the new 3DS XL in order to play Majora's Mask, or
No.
can you play on? You can play on the old hardware
it
too?
can be played on the only game that's an exclusive is Xenoblade Chronicles, which isn't even out here yet.
Okay. Then I saw last week. I don't think we talked about it, but last week I saw a comparison video because Xenoblade Chronicles is a port of the Wii version, correct? And I think that's the game I saw side-by-side comparisons of the graphics on it on the Wii and the 3DS, like showing, what the graphics capabilities of the two were, since they both have the same game.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it since it hasn't had a release date, and initially I didn't have one of these, so it was not a relevant game to me. See, it's good, right?
is there supposed to be 3D here?
I just gotta turn it on.
Oh, all right. No, wait, things are happening. Whoa. Well, that's kind of cool.
It's with the previous 3DS, it's like you had to look at it at an exact angle at an exact distance, and if you moved at all, which a lot of times we're playing this like if you're on a train or on a bus or in a car, whatever, you need to kill some time. You're going to be moving just a little bit, and it was enough to completely wreck it. But this actually, it's got a camera up here that just says like, oh, there's a head shape, and so it moves to 3D based on the head shape it sees.
But so does
on where it is.
the old one had a front-facing camera like that as well? Does it not? They didn't software update it to be able to do head tracking?
Nah,
oh no,
man.
this has something else there too. I see. Okay, there's some new junk on there. Shovel Knight, huh?
I will say the
I
latency
started
on
playing
it's
that.
great.
Like Shovel Knight better on 3DS than I did on PC, which is saying something.
The
The 3D on it's pretty cool.
If you're gonna do that kind of 3D thing, you pretty much have to have as close to zero latency as you can get with that kind of tracking. And I will say it's definitely working very well, at least in the little bit that I saw there.
Yeah, huge improvement. My last 3DS may as well have been just an HD DS because I turned 3D off. I took it, but for the first 5 minutes I had it, went, and then completely turned it off.
I never used it.
The only time I turn it on now is I get a new game and go, wonder what this looks like in 3D. Oh yeah, interesting.
Cool.
Turn it back off.
So
But I've actually been playing with it on.
I forgot about Shovel Knight. I might have to grab I have to unbury my 3DS, bring it out, and
So good.
just for Shovel Knight, because that's the thing. The debate I've been having in my head is, I still don't really truly understand the purpose of this refreshed hardware, and I think about it, and I think about like what games would I play on the platform. Like I like the platform. There've been good games in the past. There's just nothing compelling for me right now. I feel
Maybe
like.
I can interest you in a game called Fantasy Life. I played a little bit of it, and I might have mentioned it once.
Are you just
or
the god
twice.
of that world now? At this
Yeah.
point, you're level 99 in everything.
Oh yeah, you get to like I think it's like creator level in like in each of the classes if you want to. I'm not going to, but I could.
So this past week, I've been really busy with getting ready for Let's Play Live, which is this Friday, and so I feel like I haven't been dedicating enough time to play games as I should. Like all I've really had a chance to play, I feel like, I finished Game of Thrones episode 2.
Right.
I think I was close to finishing it last week. I finished that,
I'm holding off on it.
and that might
too,
be smart. And all I've really played other than that has been Evolve, and I'm liking it. It's fine.
I'm so rubbish at that game.
I appreciate the
So
fact
shit.
that they have a solo mode, because sometimes I just want to like fuck around and look around without destroying the game for everyone else. So it's easy to jump in there and do that.
Wait, before we get too far away from it, though, because we just moved off this 3DS thing without addressing the big thing about it that is weird.
One of the big things about
Why
it.
isn't there a charger in the box?
Oh, right.
Cost cutting?
I mean, is that like the biggest sign of the fact that they know that their primary market is people who already own one? Or
Yeah,
that's what
or
they
who
said.
own a Wii U, I think, because I think
it's the same charger as the gamepad?
yeah.
Meg, if you buy one, you can charge your gamepad.
It's not.
It's not.
Cole's
Never
saying it's
mind.
not. Never mind.
Never mind.
We're giving
Nope.
you bad
It's
information.
Never mind.
different?
Backtrack. I heard someone. I think.
Never mind.
I heard someone. I think tell Meg that she could use the 3DS charger to
Right.
charge the Wii U gamepad, but apparently it only works one way.
Sorry.
Oh. You what? Ah. Cool. So if they're gonna do that and they're not gonna give you, a power adapter, why not make it like a universal USB cable or something? A cable that someone probably already has.
Gus.
Why would you be reasonable like that?
Nintendo
That's
doesn't
ridiculous.
do non-proprietary connectors.
Have they ever?
They
No.
used to have RCA video and audio on the NES. Yeah.
Well, unless Nintendo's going to start selling a Nintendo TV to go with their game devices, they pretty much had to.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
But they could have had
Don't tempt them.
they could have had the multi-port connector like they used on the SNES. So I mean, I think they were just at that time they were a younger company trying to scramble and get that foothold, and now all shall be crushed by their weak sales and lack of third-party support.
They've been really weird with the 3DS. With this new one, in a couple of ways. At least in North America, where we don't even get the regular size one that has like the cool faceplates. And they initially, like after they announced that, and everyone said, "What the fuck?" They were like, "No, we just, we don't think that the 3DS has reached saturation here, and we don't want people to be confused." And now
People are already confused.
You
by
hear
the way,
that, US?
it's already happened.
Nintendo doesn't think you're good enough.
You're stupid. Apparently, you get confused.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
I'm confused.
Nintendo PR.
But then I guess they've now come out and like explained it even more, but they made it even more confusing. They're like, no, we only brought the XL out because the XL isn't here anymore, but the 3DS is. So the new 3DS would be confusing to some people, as opposed to, I guess, just transitioning both of the old models out.
Right. You transitioned to one of them. Why not the other?
Exactly.
Why not both?
Well, you know what you can't get confused by? It's a device with no power.
Yes.
Not confusing at all.
See, I think
Won't turn
actually,
on.
if you think about it, this might be genius. What they might intend is for you to buy your 3DS, and when it runs out of power, you throw it away. And then you
Disposable.
Right, and then you buy
Yeah.
new 3DS XL.
Yeah, by then it'll be the HD remake of the 3DS XL,
Yeah.
and then you buy that version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
you'll just have to buy a couple.
So how much does the charger cost on its own?
It's like
Anybody know?
$10.
So it's another $10
Do they
on top
sell
of
it in the store? Or
I-
do you have to order it from their website?
I don't know.
Oh, that would
I don't know.
be
I
awful.
have my old 3DS one, but that's the thing is like anyone who traded theirs in either had to like keep the cable or spend an extra $10 on a new one, possibly ordering it from the Nintendo website. I haven't actually been to a GameStop in a while.
Yeah.
I had a weird thing where so after the last time I was on the patch, I was talking about Ōkami, and everyone said, "Oh, remember there was Ōkami Den," and I went, "There was." So I went to get it. My first stop, 3DS eShop. Of course it'll be on there. It's a DS game. I'll just download it. It'll be amazing. Or
Yeah, like that. There you go.
went on there. Nope, it's not on there. I had to order it off Amazon. I've never had a cartridge in a 3DS. Never until Ōkami Den.
Why would they not have it on the eShop?
It makes no sense, right? They're all backwards compatible. They're a lot smaller in size because they're a little bit older. They'd be the perfect thing to just throw on the eShop so that you can have easy access to them because most stores aren't going to carry DS games now either.
Right. It's interesting. That's really weird.
Yeah. I mean, it was easy enough to just go on Amazon and get it, but and have it like shipped
Yeah, then
to
you have to
me.
wait.
Then I had to wait. I wanted to get it before a trip, and I didn't. It was waiting when I got back, but in the meantime, I just had like all these asshole new games I had to play instead.
Oh, there's pretty graphics.
It is true, though, that Ōkami Den's graphics are super dated. I'm having a little trouble playing it.
Well, maybe that's not why it's not on the store. You got to wait for the HD remake.
Maybe. I've actually...
No, this is the business model with the eShop though, is sell you old shit that you've already bought and just a new, more convenient, delivery mechanism.
Although Nintendo's actually been really good at putting most of their new games on the eShop at the same time as, if not before.
Yeah.
Remember, it was it Zelda? I think it was the Wind Waker HD remake that came out on Wii U. I think it was out on the eShop like a week before it hit retail.
Interesting. I'm glad they don't pull like the dick move that Disney. I don't know if they still do it. They used to do where stuff gets retired into the vault. Can you imagine if they would bring classic games out on the eShop for a limited period of time? Be like, you only have 2 weeks to buy it before it goes back in the vault, and just like really milk people for all the money they could.
I would totally do that.
Right,
I
see,
would
it would work.
I would absolutely buy buy them.
You'd be like, I don't intend to play it, but if I want to play it at some point before it comes back out of the vault again, I've got to buy it now.
Right, like this is my
Gotta
only
nail it
chance
down.
if I want to. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 years.
Right.
I don't think Disney does the vault anymore. I don't think you can now.
Oh, sure they do. Yeah. They still put things in the vault every time they have. You watch regular TV when they have the commercial like, here's a limited time offer before it goes back in the vault.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't think you could do that with
The
digital
vault is
distribution
like
around.
that's Disney's head is in the vault too. So every so often it has to go back and charge them back up. They need their star power returned to them from Disney's head.
That's like the plot of a Disney movie. Like they're in search of their star power.
I don't remember any Disney movies with severed heads cryogenically frozen in them, but it's coming.
The
any day.
Rescuers Down Under.
Oh. It's interesting. Some people on Twitter are pointing out that you can get a non-Nintendo charger for your 3DS, usually in store, but that voids the warranty.
Using a non-Nintendo charger voids the
That
warranty?
makes sense to me. I
How-
mean, a third-party charger.
How can they tell if you've used one? They're like, we are looking through your product registration history, and you never bought a charger.
You say you bought it 3 months ago, and now it's on fire. There you go. You probably bought a third-party charger.
No, it's the stuff in here caught on fire, not the charger.
I've used a bunch of the third-party chargers, actually. I'm thinking about getting one just for convenience because you can get the third-party chargers that have a USB connector at the end. And that would save me so much space because I have a lot of plugs with multiple USB ports for phones and Kindles and all that sort of stuff. It'd be so much easier to just have one, like a
Yeah.
USB connector for
I agree.
this.
When I travel, my laptop essentially becomes a battery for all of my USB devices. It's like, shut up, laptop. I'm not using you. I'm just using your USB ports to charge my phone or my game system or whatever.
Parasitically attach things to
Screw
it.
you, laptop. You're only good to me as a go-between.
It's like, what could I do to turn you on with as little power consumption as possible? So you just like pump out all your power via the USB port. So it's just a big battery.
All right. So now that we've covered the gross inadequacies of the new Nintendo platform, we can move on.
Evolve.
Right.
So I don't know if anyone else has been playing a lot. I've been playing
What's your class?
pretty regularly. Trapper.
Trapper. Okay.
I like Trapper a lot.
Which Trapper? Because the different Trappers have very different abilities.
I still like Maggie the most, I think. But
Well, I mean, Maggie gets a dog.
yeah.
Now, Daisy is one of the most useful characters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Way more useful than most human players I played with.
Yes. So I think Maggie is the way for me to go.
I go healer. I go Lazarus mostly. I like being invisible,
That's a good one.
but that only really works if the monster is dumb.
I gotta say, I tried the healer character I like the best, and I forget her name, but it's the one with the grenades. It's the third character. And Lazarus is cool because he can get people back up from the dead, but she has a health grenade that will heal people, a fire grenade that'll set things on fire, but she also has the adrenaline rush. So if you get behind everybody and trigger that, everybody goes faster. Which, I mean, in a game where a lot of times, sometimes you kind of get that impression like, wow, it's been 20 minutes and I'm still running after this monster.
Oh yeah,
Where
big
is
time.
it?
Yeah, it's and I feel like they do a good job also with like the perks that you can use for different game types. So normally, if I'm playing Trapper, I'm normally toggling between like increased jetpack recharge and a faster weapon switching. Because I feel like if I do my jetpack, like I can just burst out there really fast and trap the monster. Or if I'm trying to be more methodical with my team, I'll do faster weapon switching. That way, when you see the monster, I feel like I can switch to my dome and trap the monster a lot more quickly. Because there's nothing more frustrating in the world than being a trapper and then trying to toggle over to the dome and watching the slow animation of switching weapons, and it's just like, it's gonna get away.
Are you playing mostly with randoms?
Yeah.
Is that like easy? Because I mean, this is the sort of game where I feel like the team coordination, everyone needs to be good at their roles and know what each other's doing. Randoms, not great at that sort of thing
No.
traditionally.
But I feel like it's playing hard mode. It's like, if I can win and I'm playing with randoms on my team, I'm doing a good job.
You look really excited about that.
Yeah, it's like it's like a built-in hard mode. This is like finding who knows what, like people playing the class for the first time, or people not paying attention to the game at all, or someone giving the controller to their 4-year-old little brother or something.
Hey, sometimes you have to give the controller up, okay? But I mean, it's really not.
You want to talk about it, Ryan?
No, it's all right. He's so demanding with the controller. If you know your position, like if you are really good at being a trapper or really good at being a support character, it's not necessarily that you need to communicate with your team. If you're paying attention and you've got your little shield unit, you can do your job without someone going, help, I'm being attacked.
Right. You can look
Yes.
and see who's being attacked.
Visually assess the situation and respond.
Shield.
That's your job. And then when you're not shielding, you drop an airstrike on it. And then you go back to shielding. That's what you do. The assault guy shoots it. So as long as you know you and you pay attention to what's going on, you don't need to talk as much.
So, hey, guys. You do you.
Yeah.
One of my current frustrations with shitty support people is in the nest mode where you're trying to destroy eggs. Like I'll normally run up to them with my little hunter gun and pew 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 shoot them.
The SMG, which is really high damage actually.
Yeah, but I try to get close so that I don't have a big spread. And I hate when I see that airstrike icon suddenly appear over my head. I'm like, oh, dude, you see I'm standing right here.
Hey, he needs to drop that airstrike. One, that's the best way to level up the airstrike is to drop it on an egg. And two, it's going to do way more damage more rapidly than yours.
Give me a warning. It's like I have to look up.
You got a warning. There's a big
see
icon that says you're about to get hit with an orbital strike.
Invariably, I get hit, and
All
I
it
go
does is
flying.
kick you back 20 feet.
I'm like, where am I? Like looking around, confused.
Now, if it kicks you right back into the mouth of an alligator, then all right, maybe you had some legitimate beef there. But
as opposed to illegitimate beef, I feel like a black market.
The
for
rest
food.
of this is illegitimate beef. It's a little green. It's the one that's been, you flip it over, it looks red on top, but at the bottom it's all brown.
The USDA
Might have some diseases. Can't really sell it here, but
It's dog grade.
oh, poor dogs. They get screwed.
No, they're fine.
No, they got really robust intestinal tracts. They can handle that stuff. Come on, they were like carrion feeders mainly. Yeah? No?
That's really depressing.
Sure.
Why?
I'll take it.
I'll bet Daisy feeds on carrion.
Daisy will eat anything.
Daisy's a badass.
Except for the monster, apparently.
Yeah, well, but she get at least someone can find the monster.
Yeah.
It's always follow Daisy, and we don't know what we're doing.
Well, actually, that's the biggest problem you have with playing with people online is a lot of times you really shouldn't follow Daisy. You need to look at the map and, okay, the monster's been spotted on that side, so chances are it's going this way. You have to cut it off.
Yeah, Daisy's good for direction.
Right.
And for, like, picking up the trail. But then you have to definitely figure it out because otherwise you're just going to be moving slower than the monster the whole time. You're never going to catch up until they stop to eat or evolve.
Or eat you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely about, like, trying to jump ahead and anticipate where the monster movement is.
But stay together.
Yes.
Don't just jump ahead by yourself.
Anticipate together.
That's called snacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's handy when you're the monster.
Yeah, it really is.
What monster do you play? Do you have a preference?
I normally don't play the monster. I like playing a hunter.
Well, you don't get a lot of control. A lot of times you're just thrown into the monster position, though. You can set your preference.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much that's respected, though. I mean, sometimes when I jump into a game, a lot of times I'll just end up as whatever was needed, more so than necessarily what I chose.
Yeah, I always put monster last in the priority list, though. It's like I would rather be any other of the hunters.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna really like the monster role because I mean you're giant and you get rocks and you get to smash stuff. It's it's a little bit like Giants Citizen Computer. Do you guys remember that game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's up? But I'm really inaccurate with it. I can't throw a rock to save my life.
I never
Which it would.
Yeah, I never put points into rock throwing. It's always like the fire breathing and the ground pound thing. What are you laughing at?
It's just an odd statement. I spend none of my time developing my ability to throw rocks. Skipping, no.
Just monster things.
Yeah. Throwing them at cans, nothing. No, I have no desire to throw a rock.
It's true though.
Fuck
It's pretty
rocks.
useless. Like I'm like, here's a boulder the size of a house, and I can't kill a squishy human.
Well, they're
pointless.
jumpy. They bounce about.
Stupid jetpacks.
Like
The thing that I
like
think is
ants.
the stupid thing is those harpoons. Those are useless.
Yeah.
I hate the harpoons.
Yeah, because the problem is that it's too easy for the monster to break them.
Well, it's the same button that they're already mashing. It's the melee button is the same as the break the harpoon button. So they do it by accident.
Right.
A lot of times they didn't even realize they were harpooned.
Yes, that's incredibly annoying. And then, if you try to anticipate it, you can try to set up a trap where they get harpooned from multiple angles, but that never works.
That's the thing where you have to really coordinate and you have like, okay, so we think the monster's going to come in this door. I'm going to put 4 harpoons, you put 3 arc mines, and then the support guy ready with an airdrop. And then the monster comes behind you. And eats you.
You're all like looking in that direction waiting, and then just like the
Any
eyes
second
appear
now.
behind you.
And he's like, hey guys, what you doing? Nom, nom, nom.
It's like when Bugs Bunny sneaks up behind Elmer Fudd. It's like, what are you doing? Honey rabbits, huh? That's cool. And then the next thing you know, he turns the shotgun around and you shoot yourself in the face.
Well, Wow, that went dark.
Looney Tunes.
Well, yeah, he's not going to die from it. He's just going
He's-
to turn like all
He's gonna
sooty
get,
and
get soot face.
Yeah,
his
hat
hair will
is-
be
yeah.
all like back.
Exactly, just like
Yeah.
that. And then you just like wipe it, and you're back to normal.
Yeah.
I do wish life worked like that, where they just go and then they're clean. I would never have to shower again.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That'd be nice. Here, I'm gonna read this. I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Loot Crate. Oh, go on here. Loot Crate. Shall we play a game? Ooh, what is this, huh? It's time to break out the dice, cards, and controllers, saddle up and strategize. February's crate is dedicated to all the fun and fantastic games we love to play. From tabletop to video, board games, card games, RPGs, desk toys, and more, we put together a crate that celebrates both the boundless level of adventure, creativity, and excitement that great gaming can bring. Included will be a Loot Crate exclusive edition of a popular tabletop title, plus this is last month's, I think, plus a vinyl collectible figure from Kid Robot, a best-selling novel much beloved by gamers and geeks worldwide, and so much more. Pull up a seat and let the games begin. Go to lootcrate.com/roosterteeth and use code roosterteeth to save 10% on any subscription plan. Use the code roosterteeth at lootcrate.com/roosterteeth. And the last day you can sign up for any month's box is the 19th. So if you're watching the live stream, you still have time to get the February box. If you're listening to this the day it comes out in audio or goes up on YouTube, you still have time. So you got until the 19th if you want February's box. If you miss the 19th, you got till you'll get next month's box. So again, lootcrate.com/roosterteeth. Use code roosterteeth. See, I love this because I feel like this is all stuff that we should be using here to fill out our shelves next to the TV down here.
One of the ongoing points of contention between Bernie and me is how much I love stuff.
Oh, it's Legos.
But does Bernie not love
Hey,
stuff?
Lego. Well, I mean, he's told his stories about like throwing out game cases as soon as he
right.
walks out of a store. I do have to sit with him. He'll walk out of a store with something and immediately just like stop and just throw out all this stuff. And then I'm behind him going, no, just take it. Just take it.
Saving everything.
Yeah, he
Collector's items
likes
need all the
likes cool
things.
figures and stuff like that, but I'm always like, no, but I want everything.
So, what is that thing, by the way? I've been
This
dying to
looks
know
like
what
a little
that is.
arbiter.
It's a tiny arbiter.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, it's
One of the other stories I definitely want to talk about this week was the fact that the person who bid that insane amount of money for the 20th anniversary PS4 backed out
Which was
$128,000.
Yeah.
and was for charity.
Yeah. So whoever it was decided not to pay for it. However, Sony went ahead and shelled out that amount and donated to the charity.
Nice of Sony. Whoever you were a dickbag.
Then, yeah. Totally
I'm surprised it doesn't just like revert to the next highest bid. Or did someone just blow it out of the water?
I don't know, maybe.
Was it at like $2,000 and like $128,000?
So apparently this PS4 is going to go on display at the Sony showroom in Tokyo.
Nice.
So it's cool. Now,
the number one.
yeah, we now we all have a chance to see it, potentially.
He's a little front heavy. There we go. Yeah, next time I'm in Tokyo.
Well, at least we know where it'll be. It's not just some random dude bought it and it's at his house in his game console.
And
And
someday
now that we know where it is, we can arrange to steal it.
National Treasure
Yes,
style.
Now I like where your
Let's
head's
get
at.
Nick Cage on the phone. So I mean, it sucks that the person made a bid, and I think we even speculated that at the time when we talked about the story previously. It's like,
I think so.
What are the
Like-
odds that this guy's not going to pay for it?
I mean, I was coming down on the side that they would. I mean, this is for charity. Some people have that money to blow. I don't know who they are, but they
Mr.
have
Sony
it.
apparently.
And doing it like for a good cause and also getting the number one. It's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently not.
And
For the kids too.
so the other big thing then. Going back to Nintendo, the other big thing that Nintendo has going for them right now is, of course, Amiibos. And there was previously a rumor that they were going to come out with gold and silver colored Amiibos, which has pretty much been confirmed. Walmart has signs. There you go. With
Only
a
at
gold
Walmart's.
Mario Amiibo that's apparently exclusive to Walmart. People don't know yet whether or not it's an exclusive Mario Party 10 bundle that you get them together, or if the Amiibo itself will be purchasable outside of Mario Party 10, because there's not much info on the stand.
Right.
but-
It's just marketed with Mario Party 10
Right.
at Walmart.
And I don't think there's been an official announcement yet, but I mean, that's pretty much it.
Right. Yeah. I don't think Nintendo has actually said anything. They're being a little bit weird with the amiibo. They also announced like the top 3 in terms of sales, but that also is sort of weird because a lot of them were very limited in release in the first place, so would have no chance because they're just not enough in circulation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna buy them all anyway.
Well, there's been speculation that supply constraints of amiibos and new 3DSs have to do with the port strike off of the west coast of the United States. I believe the ports in Northern California are on slowdown due to union and contract negotiations.
They haven't had a contract since July of last year or something.
Wait, all these people are working off contract?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why they keep slowing down. Like, all right, we're going to go to work today, but...
So, yeah, it could be there's a lot of supply out there in shipping containers on the West Coast that just haven't been delivered.
Yeah,
There's your heist. You just go and break in and then open the truck, and it's just like, amiibos.
No, Ryan.
Ooh.
I hit the time.
There's your heist.
I see. Those are the things. High street value right now with those amiibo things. When that hits eBay, the price is just going to tank.
Yeah, they actually canceled a lot of the special edition new 3DS XLs, like the Majora's Mask ones and maybe some of the Monster Hunter ones, really last minute. Maybe because of that, or maybe just because they're bad at counting.
They didn't cancel the Majora's... Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, they canceled some
Okay.
pre-orders. Not a lot of them, but it was all... the ones that were canceled were very last minute.
Yeah, I know someone who works here went to the Target down the road here to buy a 3DS the morning that they came out. And there was a line out there, and they only received... I think that Target only received... I forget what he said. I think he said that they only had 5 of the Majora's Mask ones.
Whoa, that's not a lot.
And
That's like fight.
so people were lined up outside, until they started escorting them in to go make their purchases. And as they were escorting everyone in to go make their purchases, someone just ran. And so person number 4 in line did not get his Majora's Mask 3DS because someone else ran and grabbed it and took it.
Oh my god, what a
But
dick.
number 3 and number 5 in line did get theirs. Yeah, that's like...
Huh?
That's
bullshit.
that's some nerd fight waiting to happen.
You kill
What you
people
don't
for
know
that.
is that guy caught up to him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And, well, he may have walked out the store with it, but he doesn't have it anymore.
Apparently there was also
He
a guy
also
with...
doesn't walk anymore.
Apparently there was also a guy with a cape there and like a shoulder piece of armor. It was a rowdy crowd from
Did
what
that
I
guy
hear.
get one?
I think he left to try to get
I like enthusiast
somewhere else.
crowds.
Yeah, people were into it.
Yeah, I think Carrie here has the Majora's Mask one.
Oh really?
Yeah,
he was the guy who ran.
he's the guy who ran. He's got a long history though. He had the Link Between Worlds the Link Between Worlds one before that, and then he had the Zelda one in I think the original size 3DS as well. So
He's got a problem, is what you're saying, and we should have. Doesn't he also own like every amiibo or something?
does he?
Yeah, that's what I hear from Control Room.
Control Room
He's got
says
all
he
of them.
is.
He was talking earlier about how he wished there was an app or a service that would alert you the second new amiibos were up for pre-order. That way he could just go through and pre-order all of them.
Nintendo loves him so much.
So do you
He
think...
has a spreadsheet. I'm being told in my ear
Wow.
that there's a spreadsheet that he uses to keep track of them.
So do you think this is just like the long play by Nintendo where they release all these things that are very scarce, and then they'll release a bigger run of them where you don't really gonna run out, but everyone will buy them up because they think, oh, they'll be gone tomorrow. I got to buy them all.
I like this.
maybe.
Yeah.
This is a great idea.
Look, this is the same culture that brought us the saying, gotta catch them all. It's a long play.
Look, let's be frank. We're very, very fortunate that they haven't started in with the Pokemon Amiibo yet. Because when they do,
Oh, it's coming.
and they will, no parents can have money.
Cape and
It'll be
armor guy will
two-part.
rule the world.
It'll be a 2-part thing where you have to buy the ball and the Pokemon.
What do you,
And not every
so-
ball is compatible with every
what's the
Pokemon
ball
for some
and the
reason.
Pokemon?
Well, that's how they get in
Set.
there, right?
That's how Pokemon are made.
Am I misunderstanding how?
They're just like that.
When I'm on my Pokemon and the daddy Pokemon love each other very, very much.
I don't feel like that was ever addressed
Someone
in the series.
tickles the balls.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, that's where I see them. Like they throw it out there, and it's like, and new Pokemons are made.
So, last E3, last E3, I think we all talked about.
I'm sorry, I'm like 3 years old.
There was one piece of news I think from last E3 that we all talked about not understanding, and that was the hype around the remake of Phantom Dust,
Oh yeah, the remake of Phantom Dust.
which was a game that I had never heard of. And
My college roommates played that all the time.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, they were huge into that game.
Oh, I don't remember us talking about that. All right, I don't remember anyone.
Well, now you know.
I don't remember anyone having heard about it. But apparently, the development studio that was working on it has shut down.
Oh.
But the game is still in development.
The game is still in development.
Yeah.
By who?
Well, the janitor is still there, and he's got a robust coding background.
Or is this a shutdown like
Let me-
irrational
let me-
where they just fired everyone, but then they were like, by the way, we're gonna make indie.
We still own things, though.
I'll read you the quote here. So, Darkside Games shut down. Microsoft said they're still working on the upcoming Xbox One reboot. And here's the quote from a Microsoft spokesperson that's not credited. Microsoft partnered with Darkside Game Studios in the development of Phantom Dust, but our working relationship has now ended, a Microsoft spokesperson said. We have great respect for their studio and their work in the industry. While we do not have anything new to share on Phantom Dust at this time, we can confirm that development of the title continues. We look forward to sharing more details on the game as we get closer to release.
So they probably just took the assets and shunted them off to another team.
Maybe.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Or they took it internally.
Yeah, that still counts.
Yeah.
I hear Peter Molyneux has nothing to do.
Peter
my
Molyneux
God.
was the subject
That poor
of
dude.
the most...
Poor
I mean, no,
dude.
don't get me wrong. He should answer for what he's done. But that was the most brutal interview I think I've ever read.
Well, yeah. I mean, when the first question is, so why are you a pathological liar?
Yeah. I guess he did an interview with Rock, Paper, Shotgun, and it is, I think it might be the longest thing I've ever read on the internet, because that interview was fucking long.
Yeah.
You know, they grill him a lot about not knowing the budget to make this game and not, fully understanding the
Goddess?
scope of the work. Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Sorry. And I feel bad for him. He should be accountable for this stuff. But what he says is true in the industry. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen budget-wise. Like, you don't know. You could put a programmer to work on something and it could take him an afternoon, or a month later a team could be transitioning to work in on it and it's just a lot more money. So, I mean, but he has a history of not understanding this and not getting anywhere in the realm of close.
that's the story of Peter, whatever his last, Molyneux? Molyneux. Okay. The story of him goes back to, the Fable days.
The story of him goes way back beyond the Fable days.
Well, no, it does. That's
the over-promising days.
The over-promising.
No,
days.
it goes way beyond that,
good.
too. I mean, let's look
He was
at
off
Black
my
and
radar
White.
before that.
I forgot about Black and White.
But that was a good game.
It was a good game, but that's not to say he didn't overpromise, because he did.
That's fair.
But, I'm sorry, go on, and then I'll...
Well, I mean, I was just going to say it's not bad to have a dreamer when it comes to games. Like, you want somebody to have the big ideas. You want them to think up to the limits and beyond of what the technology can do. The problem with Peter is, can I call you Peter? He tends to take that dream and present it as fact, as deliverable. As, this is something I can give you.
I promise.
If you put just a few dollars in my pocket.
Yeah.
And he needs to learn the distinction there between what I want to do and what I can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the real story here is you can't have your super crazy creative dreamer be the person that conveys that message to the public. That person needs to drive the team and give them a vision, but then you got to have people on the team who figure out what's possible or not, and then you have someone else come out and be the spokesperson and deliver the messaging.
Yeah, the way I see it is that if that you don't necessarily want that person to be the person in charge. Mm-hmm. Have them like as creative director and all that stuff is really, really great, but having that sort of person in charge can be a problem.
Yeah, all creative directors are crazy.
Every single one of them.
He's not here.
He's off being crazy.
He's off being crazy somewhere.
He's probably naked in a desert. Picture that.
Abby, is that what is happening? Do you have inside information? Is he naked in a desert?
I'm not saying anything.
All right. We get you. Wink.
Molyneux has a long history of making really, really great games too. He did Populous and the original Dungeon Keeper, not the microtransaction laden one that came out. The thing is that on a lot of those, he wasn't the guy in charge. And it's sort of when he became the guy that I think a lot of that started going off the rails. But that said, even with games that have been overpromised sometimes to a severe degree, I really enjoyed them. I know people didn't like Fable 3. I don't know why. I loved it. I thought it was an amazing game. I loved Fable 2. Okay, Gus can explain to me in just a minute.
There's a head shake.
Black and White, I thought was amazing. I mean, I did teach my animal to, like, you know, poop in the granary a lot and then slap around a little bit and then feel bad about it. So it was a very complicated emotional journey for me. But even if it was overpromised, I loved that game and the ones that have come since. Haven't played Goddess, didn't play Curiosity, but I mean, I guess as long as I enjoy the game, I don't really care what he overpromised. I care on what was delivered, and I like those games.
Yeah, I think now we finally reached a point where he's really not delivering much of anything.
Well, he stepped over a line.
He did leave Lionhead, so he left a lot of his resources, and so now he may be trying to deliver on enormous promises without the resources to do so.
He stepped over a line where he directly took money from consumers without a finished product. And that's the story of a lot of things on Kickstarter. But when you say, here's direct, I am telling you that if you give me this money, you, the consumer, not you, the publisher, you, the larger that can take a hit and still turn a profit. If I promise you directly, I'll give you, for $20 today, I will bring you a case of beer tomorrow. And then I show up with an empty bottle and like, hey man.
Stuff happened.
That beer would have been great if I'd really just asked for a little more money, but you can't really do that, you know? Because if I'd asked you for the $40, because I had to cover my fuel costs, if I'd asked you for that $40, you wouldn't have given me the $40. So I just asked for the 20, and this is what you get for 20.
Or you can do
like
what Double Fine did and be like, you get half a game, and then at some point we'll finish the game based on like sales of the first half of the game, and I'm still waiting for the second half of Broken Age.
It's coming, isn't it?
Theoretically.
It actually looks intense.
I just really want the second half. And, you know, they did that where they over-designed. You know, they blew their goals out of the water. So they jumped up the game and then realized that what they jumped it up to, they couldn't make for what they had. So now I'm still sitting with half of a game that wasn't meant to be episodic. So at least, you know, Molyneux released on early access. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been put in there yet.
Well, the question now is whether or not it ever will be put in there.
Right.
Because they've also said that the team has shrank down significantly and that most everyone has moved on to the next title already.
That's bad.
Yeah,
and there's no money left either. Right?
Yeah, there's no money left. And I think there's only like 2 people left on the team still really working on it, which makes you wonder, like, okay, well, that's not really working on it, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what they're doing, but yeah, probably not. Probably won't get to this scale.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a mobile version, and apparently he originally had said he'd never signed with a publisher, but he signed with a publisher just to get a mobile game out, allegedly to kind of help keep the other one going. But yeah, the Steam release is a 53% completed early access, and you know, who knows when there'll ever be anything past that.
That's too bad. I saw the early access trailer and I decided to wait on it because early access, it's mostly, I mean, it's hit or miss, but for me, it's mostly miss. So I was going to wait on it. It looks cute. I like the art style. It's a shame that it might not come to completion.
Oh, well. We'll find out. I mean, this is something we've been talking about for a long time, ever since the Curiosity thing and all of that. So it's been it's been interesting to watch it develop over all this time. So, and I'm sure we'll get closure on it sooner rather than later, I suspect.
Oh, you think?
I think so.
You think someone's going to come out of the graveyard with a shovel and be like, well, that one's done.
Well,
my bad.
Well, since he said he's never going to talk to, like, publicly speak again, I'm not sure who's left. Maybe, like, the other guy who's working on it.
Yeah.
He's now their public representative.
Well, hey, maybe that guy's more of a realist.
Yeah, just got to convey the message. You got to filter out the crazy ideas and convey the message, I should say.
Still like the crazy ideas. Do you follow the Peter Molyneux account on Twitter?
I don't. I see
It's
people
really
retweet it
funny.
every now and then. The parody Peter Molyneux account.
Yeah, it just comes up with games that are just utterly ridiculous, and I'm like, I could still see that being a game. There was something similar for the SNL, the SNL 40th anniversary that just came up, where they did like a horror movie by Wes Anderson
Oh, that was great.
about home intruders, and I was like, I would watch that movie. I would play some of those games too. They're utterly bizarre, and I don't care.
So there was news this past week about who was it? Was it ZeniMax sending a cease and desist to the developer of an indie game called Fortress Fallout because they didn't want confusion between that indie game and the Fallout series.
And not just any indie game.
Let's look. There could be some confusion here. I could see why people might think that these two games are in the same universe.
Once you see the picture, but who really looks at pictures anymore, Gus?
That's not how
Let
you
me
play a
present
game.
you a world in which people will just search for the word Fallout and just buy it. Or if you say put the word amiibo on it, and people will just buy it.
Amiibo's a word that they made up. So
Amiibo
they
is
can
a
protect
pretend
that.
word.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know for certain that Fallout was a word before the first game came out? Were you around? I mean, you were, but do anyone
do I
talk
really
about
know?
it?
Do
Yeah.
you have proof?
Was it in the common parlance before then?
Nuclear weapons manufacturers can no longer refer to particulate nuclear
Didn't we
material as
just come from a
Fallout.
Cold War? Not well. We
They're
just
sort of the
came out.
inspiration
We
for
just
the
came
game.
out of it. The Cold War just ended. Congratulations,
Wow, I mean,
everybody.
relative to the length of the human existence, sure, yeah, it's like yesterday.
So, and of course, this story made me think back to when they sent a cease and desist to Mojang because they were working on the game Scrolls, saying that would be confusing with Elder Scrolls.
By the way, let's take a poll. Has anyone been confused about the game Scrolls, thinking it was an Elder Scrolls game? Let us know.
Maybe a lawyer looking for an easy lawsuit.
Like, hey, that is a word in our title as well. I think we should own that. Well, I mean, Candy Crush was
Right.
the infamous one recently.
And Saga.
Uh-huh.
It's awful. There are way too many. Like, I can see, wanting to protect your intellectual property if someone's making something that's a ripoff. But come on, man. Sometimes these words are just words. It's just I don't see how they can be protected. Candy for a fucking video game? I mean, I don't want to get back down that rabbit hole. We talked about that for months. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and the one of the interesting things about this case in particular too is it's not just like a totally random indie dev. It's Captain Sparkles.
It is Captain Sparkles.
And the community picked the name. The community picked the name Fortress Fallout. And we should also note that Valve isn't being like, hey, I could be confused with Team Fortress.
Right.
It's true.
It has it's using one of the words, and guess what? They're like, no, it's a different game. We get it.
He should change the name to Fortress Team and see if that makes anyone angry.
Oh my god.
Now I'm curious, has there been really no other game ever with Fallout in the title? Anywhere in the title?
Other than the Fallout
look.
series? I mean, I can't think of one right now off the top of my head. You put me on the spot.
I guess maybe they just like the idea
Only we'd
that
research this ahead of time.
if you search for Fallout game, you will only get games probably that are in the Fallout series.
And I guess they do own a trademark on that word as it pertains to video games. Also, keep in mind that that Bethesda is, as Captain Sparkle's lawyers put it, notoriously litigious. So this may not be the first time they've gone after games. It may just be the first time that the internet's been around to take
I think
note.
Heard about
legally speaking, it's ZeniMax.
There's ZeniMax Online Media, Bethesda Softworks, and Bethesda Game Studios.
Yes. But I think the people with this lawsuit are ZeniMax.
They seem like a weird setup.
Yeah.
Like that entire thing. So there's
It's like
game studios, but like ZeniMax owns them, but they're the only thing ZeniMax owns. It's almost like ZeniMax was, I don't know.
It's like you walk
I guess
into
not.
a lawyer's office
They now do stuff
and the
with,
receptionist is there. And it's obviously the lawyer with like a fake mustache and like glasses, like, I'll buzz you in right now. And then they disappear and they like run into their office and they take off their disguise. It's like, you're the person that was out there. Like, no, that's a totally different person.
No, sir, I'm a totally distinct legal entity.
Yeah, that is what it feels like a lot of the times. I mean, now that they've got Elder Scrolls Online from ZeniMax Online Studios, it's, I guess, starting to diversify. And they're working with Shinji Mikami on, the Evil Within games and those. So they're starting to get there. But it still feels very much like Bethesda and has for years.
Absolutely. And I think, also the fact that they're partnered so closely with id now helps drive some more distinction between the brands.
So I'm on the fake mustache side.
So talking about id makes me think about this Doom mod I saw. I feel like every week I'm talking about Doom mods now.
Now they're getting a resurgence.
Last week I talked about the guy who did his own effects with his voice and replaced all the sounds in the game. This week, I guess there was
I was going to do one of those for Skyrim with Gavin, but I couldn't figure out how to make it I could figure out like a couple of sounds, but not all of them, and went, yeah.
too hard. Well, this week there's a mod that adds a selfie stick and Instagram functionality into Doom. So you can use a selfie stick to take pictures of yourself as you banish the minions of hell on a space station in Mars.
All right, maybe it's because I'm I guess too old for Instagram, but you got to tell me honestly, does anyone use those filters? They're all awful.
You're using them right there. You see
yeah,
them.
but I mean on actual pictures.
Yeah,
like,
people use them all the time.
so they hate good pictures, is what you're saying.
I think the way that what those filters are meant to do is cover up the badness of pictures.
Oh, so the less you see of most of those things, the better, really.
Right. It sort of gives it an atmosphere so that you're like, no. The graininess is an
it's like,
effect.
It's art.
If you're going to get in bed with me, you turn the lights off first.
There you go.
Same thing.
This is what I look like heavily filtered.
Yeah. See, I've got makeup on right now. The lights are a little too bright. No, I know that. You got to create a mood. Yes, just like that. So another bit of news. So we're starting around a lot of time. Got a few minutes left. Another bit of news I want to talk about before we wrap up this week is World of Tanks coming out to the Xbox One.
Yeah, wow.
After being on the Xbox 360. What do you mean, wow?
I mean, just like haven't heard World of Tank news in a long time.
I guess yeah. They came out in the 360. I only know this because I looked this up after they made this announcement. But apparently on the 360 version, the last year they've done 5.4 million downloads.
See, this is actually my wow was driven by the fact that when you first said that, I thought you were announcing the 360 finally coming out because I remember the beta. I have no recollection of it releasing as a full game.
It was it came out late last summer.
All right, well, there we go.
Yeah.
You know what's finally coming out? Homeworld.
Homeworld.
It is.
So excited. It comes out next week.
What platforms is that on? Is that just PC?
PC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you play that game with a
Yeah,
controller.
that's why I started
No
asking the
idea
question.
whatsoever.
I thought, is this a stupid question?
Yeah, I went to Gearbox not last week. Yes, last week. Oh my God, time is getting away from me. I actually emailed them and I was like, look, I really like Homeworld. Can I want to come by and talk to some people? Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Did you actually twirl your hair when you did that when you were just saying that?
I was over email. You can't do that over email. It just doesn't read.
You could do it. It just doesn't read. Yeah.
You go hair twirl, super professional. But I managed to go. I went up to the offices and interviewed a bunch of people. I learned so much stuff, and I got to play the game for a while.
Oh, how was it?
Oh my God, it's so good. I remembered all my hotkeys, my creating groups, and it's weird. It looks exactly the way I remembered it until you see the classic version and go, oh.
Oh yeah, my memory it's like an Instagram filter.
It's like an Instagram filter. Good one.
I'm looking up the system requirements for Homeworld. You don't happen to know them by any chance on top of your head?
Man,
Nope. I know that they run on the computer in Bernie's office. They run on the computer at home, and they run on my little.
They just bumped it up
Razor.
to the Homeworld 2 engine, which is still a decade old, so it'll probably run on a TI-83 at this point.
They did, but it's highly modified. They've done a lot with it, and they all they threw everything they could at it, like ship-to-ship shadows and god rays, and they completely redid the way that that the world, the world space, is built, and it looks incredible.
Well, the awesome thing about doing stuff in space is there's just a lot less scenery, generally speaking, that you have to deal with. Now, there may be a lot more props if you're going through an asteroid field or a debris field or something like that, or nebula. But in most cases, you just have a really pretty backdrop, and there's not really anything else between you and the bad guy.
One of the things that I actually really liked about Homeworld when it first came out was that it was really pretty. It wasn't just look, it's dark space and there's some stars really far away, and maybe there's a planet over here. It was very much like in nebulas, which is ribbons of color and all this sort of stuff. And they've taken that and then turned it to 11, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, the system requirements are not crazy on this actually. It requires, minimum Vista, 2.4 gigahertz dual core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, GeForce 8500, Radeon 2600.
I think that's just like the rock bottom. If you're running Windows, you can run the game almost level of requirements.
I don't see the recommended requirements on here. Otherwise, I'd be reading those. So it doesn't need to be crazy.
It's the same as the minimum requirement.
Yeah, it runs. It's great. It looks amazing. The gameplay is awesome. They did do a couple of things, so there are like a few tweaks as far as gameplay goes, in that they redid the UI because I guess the UI of the original they felt wasn't very accessible.
Probably would have been very low res too. I doubt they vectorized it, so it would have been like 680.
Yeah, that too. I guess
640.
in Homeworld 2 they had a lot of like much more to the UI, and so they had to strip all that out because that wasn't going to go to 4K. So they kind of redid the UI, but it looks nice. It's like really, it's minimal.
Looks classy. Yeah.
It's minimal, so you don't really notice it until you're like, oh, I need to do a thing, and then you go, aha, and it works really great. The sad thing, the thing that makes me like the saddest about this whole thing is it doesn't include Cataclysm.
They lost it.
They lost it. So
It's like the Saturn V rocket. Nobody
yeah.
knows how to do it anymore.
that was one of the things I asked him about. I was like, no, Cataclysm, it's so sad. But it turns out that it was actually developed by Barking Dog, not Relic. And they just never delivered the source code. Nobody can find the source code to Homeworld Cataclysm. And while I admit the story was a little bit hokey. Yeah.
It's there.
Someone.
Yeah.
And then the
Somewhere.
studio burned down. It was the weirdest thing, and no one had backups off-site.
What's weird is probably somebody somewhere does have that source code. I mean, they
Got a shoebox under their bed, like, someday this will be worth money.
You make jokes, but they ended up getting a whole bunch of like the original concept art and the music DAT tapes from the original Homeworld creators that had just squirreled this stuff away. So it could exist somewhere. It might be in a shoebox under someone's bed.
So if you were a developer and you worked at Barking Dog, was that it? Check under your bed, check your shoeboxes. You might have Homeworld Cataclysm source code in there.
Also, if you happen
want
to
that shit back.
happen to be working on a game at all, just steal everything. You don't know when that'll be necessary, all right? Just take it all home.
They may thank you someday, like,
Yeah.
oh, we lost our backups. Thank God you kept it in a shoebox under your bed. All right, we're at time. We got to wrap up.
Right, but don't actually do that. That's illegal.
That's illegal. Don't do anything
do that.
illegal. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back on Monday with another episode. We'll be back with On the Spot tomorrow, Thursday. Monday RT podcast
With
and then again
Funhouse.
next Wednesday.
Funhouse.
The fact you're right,
Funhouse.
Funhouse will be on the spot this Thursday because they're going to be here anyway for Let's Play Live on Friday. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Toodles.